Hey, what's going on, guys? I got another video for you today. And today we're going to talk about something that not a lot of Berserk fans know about. That being the Berserk Trading Card Game. It was originally published by Konami from 2003 to 2005 and came out with 5 sets known as volumes. In the first volume, there were 160 cards, the second and third had 64 each, and the fourth and fifth had 80 each. Along with this, there were various holo foils, gacha cards, promotional items, and just a slew of fantastic artwork and colorization. So it's absolutely fantastic. Now the emblems in the top right corner of each card indicates its rarity. So you got a bronze emblem for common cards, silver for uncommon, gold for rare, and then cards with a red emblem are super rare. And for various promotional prizes, they have a taupe emblem. In addition, they're marked with a not for sale logo in the bottom left corner. Now, given the fact that it was released from 2003 to 2005 means that it was a very limited run. There were only so many cards that came out, which means that 20 years later, I know that's kind of weird to say at this point, it's kind of hard to come across these cards, and they're very expensive. Not only that, they were only released in Japan. They never came out in America, so very limited supply, and it's hard to get your hands on them. But the cards themselves are absolutely fantastic. I'm showing some of them in the video right here, and they just all look fantastic. Each one of the cards is taken from the manga or one of the volume covers, and then it's colorized, so it's perspectives of the manga that we've never seen before. You got fantastic images of Guts, Griffith, Zod, Grunbeld, just everyone, Pippin, Corcus, Judo, Rickert. I mean, they're all there, and they all look fantastic. Now, not only is there fantastic artwork, there's also a game associated with it as well. It somewhat plays similar to Magic the Gathering, which I did play a little bit in high school, so it's not too unfamiliar to me, but I want to go over the rules just in case you guys are interested. Now, each player has their own personalized deck, and the goal of the game is to occupy the royal capital along with 2 local cities. So basically the game is set up like this. You got 4 local cities on the wings, and then the royal capital in the middle. Now, to play a card, a player must first set it. So they got to put it face down on their field. And you got to choose a lane in which you want to put it in. And based on the lane that you choose, that's the capital that you're going to be attacking. Now, after you set the card, you can open it, which means that you're flipping it face up, and it becomes an active member of your military. But to do so, you have to pay the card cost. So for example, take a look at this Griffith card. You got the name of the card in the top left corner, you got the rarity in the top right corner, and right next to the rarity, you see these 2 little circles here. This is the character cost. So for Griffith, I would have to discard 2 white cards from my hand to flip him over. And then if you look in the bottom right corner, you see 3 values. You got the character's range, which is a stat that influences priority in dealing attack damage. If you ever play D&D, it's kind of similar to the dexterity stat. It determines the initiative. And then you got movement, pretty self-explanatory, just says how much the character can move in a given turn. And then you got the power and HP. Power is your attacking power, and then HP is your hit points. So essentially, a turn plays out like this. You got the refresh stage, then you draw a card, you open any cards, so if you want to open, say, Griffith, for example, you have to discard 2 white cards from your hand. Then you go into the main phase, in which you can set more cards, you can start to move your characters, then you can attack an area, or you can use an ability. And then after that, you end your turn. Now you can set as many character cards in a turn as you want, but you can only open 1 at a time. Now character cards come in 4 different colors. You got white, green, red, and black. So of course, if you have a character like Grunbeld here, who is a red character, you primarily want to fill your deck with red cards. I would imagine that you probably just have a whole deck of red cards if you want to play a guy like Grunbeld. And it does seem like if you play the red cards, you're playing Griffith's army and the various apostles, so that's a pretty cool choice. But if you want to go with the black cards, you can go with a guy like Schnoz. Shirka, of course, is a green card, and then you got your white cards, which is a lot of the members of the old Band of the Hawk, Corcus, Judo, and Rickert. Now, along with that, you have various effect cards as well, which can be played in your turn. I would imagine that they boost your character's attack or defensive measures, or maybe they prevent your opponent from doing something that they want to do. So, again, I'm sure there's a lot of strategy in this, and it would be absolutely fun to play a game like this. Man, I just wish I knew someone who had a deck as well. I mean, this sounds like a blast. Now, at the start of the game, you have a field like this. The 5 capitals are shuffled up and placed in the middle of the board, so you don't know where the royal capital is. Each player starts with 7 cards in their hand. Now, they can keep these 7 cards, or if they don't like the layout of the cards that they received, they can reshuffle it in their deck and draw 1 less card. And they can actually do this as many times as they want. So if you get a bad hand 3 times in a row, you could reshuffle your cards 3 times and only start with 4 cards at the beginning of the game. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention before, or I sort of alluded to it, was this little emblem in the right-hand corner. It's a sword and a shield. Now, I mentioned how it indicates the rarity of the card. There's also a number up here as well, and this number is in fact really important. For a card to be summoned to the field, that number of capitals must be opened up before you can actually do so. So for example, before any capitals are opened up, the only cards that you can play are these mercenary cards. They have a 0 up here, so they can be summoned without any capitals being opened up. A card like Grumbeld, for example, which is a very powerful card, as you can see by the attack and the HP, needs 4 capitals opened up before you can summon him. Now, you can only have 3 of each card in your deck at any given time. That being said, the only exception to this rule is for the mercenary cards. You can actually have an unlimited supply of mercenary cards in your deck. So in the beginning of the game, you're only really using your mercenary cards to open up capitals so that you can sort of give way for the bigger hitters. Now, like I said, the range determines the initiative of attack. But if the range is same for all the character monsters on the field, then damage is done equally. So for example, let's say I have Grumbeld on the field, and my opponent has this setup. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't just attack one monster at a time. So Grumbeld has an attack power of 5. I can actually spread out those 5 points to the 3 different characters on the field and destroy all 3 of them at once. But because my range is 0, I do not have initiative. So even though I'm dealing 5 damage, my opponent is also dealing 5 damage, which means it's going to be a total wipeout. I destroy all 3 of their characters, and they destroy my character. But if we were to say put Irvine on the field, he has an attack power of 5 as well. However, his range is 3, which as far as I can tell is the highest range in this game. Which makes Irvine kind of a broken character. His initiative cannot be beat by any other character, which means that he's always attacking first, and with an attack power of 5, he could just absolutely decimate the opponent. So in the example with Grumbeld, yes, he destroyed the 3 character cards, but he also got destroyed himself. In the case of Irvine, he gets to move first, so he gets to destroy all 3 character cards before they even get an opportunity to attack. Yeah, he's just an absolute menace. But as you can see, his character card is blank. He has no effects. Most of the other characters have effects, which I would imagine sort of balances out the play a little bit. I mean, even though Grumbeld has a range of 0, maybe he has a really good effect that sort of compensates for that. Okay, so now we know in this example that Irvine is going to come out on top and destroy Pippin and Casca. But let's say I use a quick effect card. And the one I'm using is Spring into Battle. And as you'll notice, it increases the power and the HP of one of my characters. So I'm going to put that one on Pippin, thus making his power 5 and his HP 5. Now, in our example, Irvine put 3 towards Pippin and 2 towards Casca. And because he has priority, his damage is dealt first. So Casca is destroyed just like before, but with Pippin having 5 HP thanks to the quick effect card, he's still alive at the moment. And now that Irvine's damage has been dealt, it's now Pippin's turn. And because he does 5 damage, he completely eliminates Irvine. So now in this example with the quick effect card, Pippin is the only one remaining on the field. Now Irvine still did 3 damage to yourself, so you might be asking yourself, well, does that damage carry over? And the answer would be no. It's like Magic the Gathering. If you don't destroy a monster in that step of the battle, the following turn, all damage goes back to 0. So Pippin, again, goes back to 3 HP. Of course, that quick effect card is also gone as well. That was only for the one turn. But, at least in this example, he survives. Now, you might be asking yourself as well, does that mean the white team controls the capital? And the answer would be no. You can only gain control over a capital if you're the aggressor. If you're the one defending, even if you win the battle, you don't get the capital. You can only take capitals through attacking. You can't take them through defense. In addition, once you take a capital, if you use one of your movements to go over to a different capital, and you have no other allies on that capital that you own, you lose ownership of that capital. So that's right, you have to keep at least one troop stationed at that capital while you own it. Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, like, if you got no one in the castle, do you really own the castle? Do you really have control over it? The answer would be no. So, effectively, to win this game, you need 2 capitals plus the royal capital. You need 3. So essentially, you need to be the aggressor on 3 different capitals while maintaining 3 troops on those 3 separate capitals. So from a bird's eye view, it's a very methodical, slow game. It's going to take some time before you build up those capitals, especially considering the fact that you need to open up cards by sacrificing cards in your hand. I kind of like that terminology, by the way. In the rule book, they say when you're discarding cards from your hand to open up a character, you're sacrificing those cards, which makes a lot of sense in the Berserk universe because apostles gain their apostle body, their demon body, through sacrifice. So kind of a cool little dynamic there. Now, one last little nuance about the game is that when you have a face-down card and your opponent declares an attack on you, you are allowed to open up that card as a defensive measure. However, the person who declared the attack, if they also have a face-down card in that lane, they can also respond by opening up another card. So theoretically, you could open up 2 cards in your attacking round. So yeah, anyway, that's the gist of the game itself. Now what I want to show you is some of the cards that I collected for myself and yeah, give you some first-hand experience with the artwork and what everything looks like. Alright, so this is the first volume of cards. This set includes 160 cards. Now, I was able to attain the entire first set for $700, which equates to about $4.38 per card. Now, it does sound kind of expensive, but if you go on the various websites like Macari or Mandarake, it's actually not that bad of a price. You see singles on there selling anywhere from like $5 to $10 a pop. And when you include shipping tax, I mean, it's even more than that. So, I mean, if you're paying $5 to $10 a pop for like a common or an uncommon, it adds up pretty quickly. And then some of the rares, the gold cards, go for like $10, $20 a pop. It's just kind of crazy. And then if you go on eBay, just forget about it. The prices there are just ridiculous. I see common cards going on eBay for like $30. It's just absolutely absurd. Now, I don't have Volume 2 at the moment, but these pages are all blank. This is Volume 3. Again, I got this one for $279, about $4.50 per card. And yeah, just absolutely beautiful cards here, guys. Just everything about this set is just so gorgeous. You know, you got Skull Knights, Ganishka, Salat, just such a plethora of great, just great looking cards. You know, I just love staring at these things. It's just amazing how good these cards look. And then rounding things out, we got Zod carrying Charlotte's bed under the moonlight sky. And then I got some holos as well. So these can vary in price quite wildly. The Casca one here, I paid about $100. This Griffith one with the Demon Army, about $50. This one of Rosine in her Apostle form, second stage, about $45. This is a very nice promo of Griffith right here. I really like the colors on this one. And then Skull Knight, god damn, that looks so good. If you watch my short, I picked up this Griffith super rare, which is, I put in the video probably like $773. That's a fairly low estimate. I wouldn't be surprised if this went well over $1,000. I got Guts with the Beast of Darkness, absolute favorite. I spent quite a bundle on this one, $350, but it's worth it. It looks so good. And then I got Zod as well, just a nice facial shot right there. I really love that. Got a nice one of Slan manifesting out of the troll intestines. A really nice one of Sonya, just a very simple card, but it just looks so elegant and beautiful. And then my last one here is Rosine with the various insects that she created. So yeah, these cards are just fantastic, guys. I love everything about them. I'm going to try my best to collect all 5 sets, at least all the commons, all the non-hollows for all these sets. Getting all the hollows is going to be very difficult. There's 216 hollows, which is kind of funny because 216 is the number of years between eclipses. So that's a nice little coincidence that they put in there. And then if you guys are interested in the card game yourself, if you want to get into it, if you want to play it, or if you want to start collecting, there was a Discord set up by Psychrez and various other members of the community, and it's called Berserk TCG, and yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. Such a great and loving community. You know, everyone's there to help you out, share advice, you know, just have a good time. And, you know, it's just such a great hobby to get into. And being such a big Berserk fan that I am just having an absolute ball with this. You know, I found out about the game about 3 years ago, but I only started collecting about a month and a half ago. And it's such a nice addition to my collection, and I really love it, guys. And because I was making these recordings in stages, I actually found out from the Berserk TCG Discord, if you download the Tabletop Simulator for $20, there's actually a mod where you could play the Berserk game. So you obviously need to know someone who also has Tabletop Simulator, but yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. Like, if you want to get into the game for $20, that's a great way to do it. And if this video gets enough popularity, I'll even stream some of the games myself. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for listening to the video. Special shout out to the Berserk TCG community, Psychrez, and various others for helping me out. This was just an absolute gem of a find. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.